of South Africa, Timemufo, and I said the citizens of South Africa for no muchemo, and I say, Uye bibini, now when you're South African, there you should be heading back to your country. Ghana for this year binomono, they've encountered this attack. Naminoka say, President of our land, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Ababe Kasa Ediafa and Semnewa, I hear a whole lot of issues. But before no, Abronye and Rada, you did a video by ya na or go viral on the internet. Man for me react to say, what is the government doing about this issue? At Daintina Ghana this year, Ebekwa POB mind so na ye be treat you more in such a awful way. No, your video no ho. Let's just watch the video of how the attack went. Yeba and some more President John Dramani Mahama de ababe to Jan Yebeko na yakwa kuti no.
Where are you from? Ghana. Ghana. So you left Ghana and you came to South Africa to do here.
They're killing buckets now.
No, I purchased for someone.
Okay. What are you doing here? What skills are you bringing into South Africa?
I was doing nails.
Nails is not a scarce skill. When are you going back to fix your country?
Hey, talk, quick.
Next month.
Don't tell us next month. We are not foolish. We are not foolish. Let me tell you, Baba. Ne? Right now, as South Africans, we don't want you guys here anymore. Go fix your countries, Baba. You see, let me tell you, we're still speaking to you nicely. It's going to get to a point where speaking to you, it won't help.
Where are you staying? Address?
So now you left Ghana, you came to South Africa to do nails.
No,
for nails?
It wasn't proposed for nails, but when I came,
if I may ask you, what visa do you possess to be in South Africa?
It was with holidays.
Holidays. Okay, let me tell you. Because of Luna, you are abusing our systems. According to the South African immigration law and home affairs laws, you only have 90 days a year. But Luna, you go to the border, you stamp this thing every month, every 3 months, you stamp this thing. Actually, this we must address with the home affairs and the minister that Luna, you are abusing our systems. No, it's 90 days a year, and we are not here for a visit.
We see a video I share no Ghana ni Abronye wo South Africa mind you man ejuma we na chese we nail technician or fixing nails ni ade and a xenophobic attack na ekoso no wakwako for live victim to it out him say etoto na no ni ade ye busa ne kra say da ben and obe free South Africa akwako piemu wo mind so now video we circulate nyina no na ye ma hwefo enya ho ntia say this is not the first time South Africans attack womo fellow Africans womo emine no eso. Now the previous attack course no President John Dramani kasaye edifa ho. Now that video is out again. One for kase South Africans for enkai say emrebi twemu no. I mean they are the last country be betimi akasa African country womo gaining independence ebibimai mu hanum say, and the contribution made by the rest of the African countries no enemani possible, and that is the same thing our President John Dramani Mahama ede etujo ebusia yentie said the president edin semno etumontin so.
I think that is an issue that we are all worried about because of the specific circumstances of South Africa, and it's most regrettable and most unfortunate. I think that the young people of South Africa do not know what happened before they gained their freedom. The whole of this continent stood behind South Africa. The whole of Africa stood behind South Africa to fight against apartheid. I remember all of us growing up as secondary school children, went on marches, we were part of the African Youth Command, we demonstrated, we boycotted classes and all that, all in the fight against apartheid. Indeed, for several of the countries where their citizens have been brutalized in South Africa, these are countries that were called frontline states that harbored the freedom fighters, of South Africa and gave them safe haven, gave them passports, to be able to avoid the clutches of the apartheid regime. And even Nigeria, even though not a neighbor of South Africa, was considered a frontline state because of the economic contribution that Nigeria did to the ANC to be able to liberate South Africa from apartheid. And so it is regrettable that the same people who fought against apartheid, are being attacked in this way. The pictures we've seen are very horrible. as ECOWAS, we've issued a statement condemning what is happening. The unfortunate thing is this is not the first time. It keeps flaring up. And so while we are condemning the
President John Dramani Mahama NIT and Sema Wade Etuja. Now with all that is happening, no, again a lot of traction. Samafo Bebre reacted to with both South Africans, any other African citizens or more across different African countries. And afein so no yebeka say Ghana for this year being so any abrepa James said this is wrong, this is bad. Now one of mekane say Ghana need to share ede ninsembia baba toja with regards to what is happening. Now according to her no ohun say and someone koso ni nyina no we should give the blame to the government. It's say yeah no and ye provided jobs, ye provided and niema ebema Kronimu anase Oman Ghana mu are very reliable to stay in. We won't find our members moving from one country to the other. Say womo elko siki for greener pastures. Enka enyasa enka yen witness de yen we now yen kwani enko tie eye erano nensema wode etuja ye ba ye beto aso de amamu.
But in all honesty, if our country were to be fixed, okay, good minimum wage, good paying jobs, good system, who will want to go to another person's country? Let's be realistic. The South African woman that is telling the Ghanaian man to come home is a fact. Make it come in housing. Why you people don't like Truso? If our leaders, okay, have made the right decisions, good policies for every Ghanaian, why will a Ghanaian need to travel out there to go and find greener pasture? Yeah, then go this way. I be with there with the tell other people to make them go. Not be what they are paying. Make everybody go to my country. Make them go fix them my country. Me are there, yes, so are they Ghana. Things make hard, but are they inside? Those of you that are privileged to go to the third world or wherever countries, bless God for your lives. You go, your paper die, come house. When the woman they talk, what be lying for inside? Why is like all of us they can't make them look like say, oh, we are one African. Master, make we forget that thing. That be why some people then be one African, then they inside Ghana, then they misbehave, then they foolish, then they beat we where we Ghanaians for inside Ghana. Then they mess up. Yeah. Some of them they can't stay here. Then my parents die 10 years now. Nobody give a damn about them. Then they Ghana, they do whatever they want to do. So now that there's an awakening, this one will be xenophobic. Somebody say go your country where xenophobic attack be that one. Me I don't understand you people though. The woman, she's South African. She knows what is actually happening in her country. For her to make this statement, she has a valid reason. The gentleman, he's Ghanaian, in paper die. Finish. Let's go and blame our leaders. As she said, our leaders have made our country so bad that even in the morning, sometimes you have to beg for food before you eat. They don't work on that. Our leaders have made the country so bad.
Ebusia utie ensemo a eye Ghana ni ede tujade anache se wo ka de akwa kosi se wo foa de eye South Africans for na can so that they should move. Ghanaians should move from their country and go back to their country and fix their country. Utimi fixe wo man a ubetimi atenemu ama weni age ama bibi akoso ye ede ama. And then there are some section of South Africans and so on. Women so support can say Ghana for any other African countries. Now, according to one South African, no, or believe it is high time South Africans come out of their ignorance and illiteracy. It says the presence of other foreigners can give them in Kenya dia wo mo betesi mbonten so tese de ye hunu no na wo mo attack wo mo fellow Africans yenkotie onu nso ensema wo de etuja.
The only thing I'm going to say to you is that it has gone to famous brands lawyers that have looked at it, and that is where it stops. You've now dealt with people Monday, Tuesday, and today, so that's where we are. So,
why did you allow your management and yourself to exploit these ladies while they are working perfectly for you?
Sorry, just hold it a second. According to the Copy Act, these people aren't allowed to film me.
Okay, I remember.
So you take your pictures away?
Yes.
The staff aren't allowed on this property. at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is now in the hands of the normal route and the Department of Labour and the CCMA. And that's where it rests now.
No. But
Yes, it does.
no, you need to listen to their complaints, and
We have listened to their complaints.
And then these are valid complaints.
Excuse me, we've listened to their complaints now for 2 days.
And then what have you done?
We had.
What have you done? So the land
They've gone Okay.
No.
Just hold it a second. Just hold it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not going to. This was dealt with yesterday.
How it was dealt with?
Famous Brands was here. All the
who's the famous
contracts
brand?
went.
Not tell us that we are not allowed here because we still wake us here. Where is the dismissal letters? Where are they?
No.
Listen. Do not shout at me.
No, they have a right.
Okay?
They have a right.
Please take the right to sit it outside there and then I'll talk to you.
Come again?
No, all I'm saying, please take him out of here to that area over there.
No.
I will make a phone.
No. You need to resolve to this. Now, I'm here to resolve this. Otherwise, I'm shutting down here. I'm going to shut it down.
This is
some of the reactions from citizens in South Africa, no, and I say, right now they are not giving space to any person. So we are a friend is saying African, we are white, anything. But Ebinomocha said the whites are being given preference over here. It's answer we share the demeanor ne abutre. Now her said they didn't punti by the fellow African nature. Lose like South Africans are losing it up some way, and some of their citizens are reacted to it. Yensha video wimbra na into aso.
Education is the only thing that will help South Africans. If you wait for the government to deport all these foreigners out for you to develop, you will never develop. You will die in poverty. They are saying you do not pay school fees, right? Take advantage on that position. Work hard in school, pass, get degree, get to work in government. Once you start working in the government, you will have no problem with foreigners. As a matter of fact, you will need them to be your housemaid. You will need them to be a houseboy. Wasting your time on smoking, not learning. You will remain blaming foreigners for your failure. And trust me, these foreigners will remain here. They will continue to be your problem until you die. The government of South Africa is rich enough to get you free school, rich enough to get you free hospital, rich enough to give you free money. Take advantage on that. Do not wait for foreigners to leave. They will never. If you don't take advantage of what government is giving you free, you will always fight with foreigners for house girl position, security guard, being a housemaid. This is what you are going to fight for, and you are going to get paid 2,000. You are very stupid.
For nature say yet the blacks and the foreigners are echo South African. You could have been mechanism more instrumental to the South Africans, but essence woman person be ko school akoma nim na fe woman holding high positions in government no woman the blacks and other Africans in their country, and pray for menial jobs like house help, security, any other there. And untina mo mania brea, wo money African for ne eba twede wo krono emu. Ninyine mu no back in Ghana here there are some politicians wo mania bre pa mo chem say, what is the High Commissioner to South Africa? I mean Ghana's High Commissioner to South Africa. E de no ya fa ho. Adenti no tena ho na ohwe ema se be Ghana for honom no. Ye de omofa all this stature emuna back here in Ghana no. We have some South African citizens they are comfortable and omonam kroma no mo koba up and above their usual daily activities will be anyomushe, and yeah, they are calling for retaliation. Say immediately Ghanaians yen retaliate. Let's serve them what they are serving us. And yeah, where you boot for booter. The United Party wamuka sama for bako wade ababe tuja yenkutie nensema wade tu montenso.
These are the issues that you are telling me that diplomatically. By now the High Commission of South Africa in Ghana must be answering to us. Why South Africans living in Ghana must live in this country?
But should it be an eye for an eye?
It has to be, because this is not the first time. You see, sometimes the lady that spoke, they don't know their history. if they know the contribution of Ghana to South Africa, she wouldn't speak the way she spoke. As far back as 1960s, Kwame Nkrumah gave our money to the Isizwe, the arm wing of ANC. That money could have been used to develop Ghana. Mandela was the one that was coming to this country to collect that money. No, beyond that, there were a lot of comrades from South Africa that were using Ghanaian passports. Because at that time, we were using South African passports. It was very difficult to be traveling around to fight apartheid. We granted them passports to be traveling around the world in our name so that they can go and do business. What are we talking about? Look at the guy in the midst of 15 South Africans being humiliated. Yeah. We do this, and the High Commissioner, having heard from him, we said we have called who? The foreign minister there. She must be explaining to us why the more than 5,000 South Africans here must live comfortably. Look, this economical Ghana is held by South African businesses. They make so much money from this country.
Abusian for a Samuel Owusu or no United Party or Mokasama for Bako and what the air to just South Africans for no so person mu Ghana bone dia and ye was say so ye time a serve or more back to back. I mean ye say ubwa obi na say when you are and what's what say within I when you my men say me but at this point it looks like the tangent South Africans for Eddie Ghana for binume any some Nigerians and other African countries Zimbabwe ne ade munkro for air fanede ye jitu mwenye and in every country they should also be served the same meal they are serving our people in their country and usha baby ansem ne ekika kona na chese bushanti mu se asem ne editoriate akosoro anu ayedin esanse me no ka say in South Africa Africans are being denied medical assistance. Omo be piemu ewo hospital ho the South African hospital number 2 say African but then you are not a South African. We are a Ghanaian Nigerian. You be pamu sisi a. Just say whether you have document ukran krata they are denying Africans medical access utimu se ensem no baby a ekeka kono eni eya yenyan. Now let's take a look at the see one of the hospitals before Ghanaians, Nigerians are being sacked and denied access to medical attention.
If you know yourself that you're not South African, please stand up. Please stand up. Please don't try and stand up right now. Stand up. Sister, are you South African? Are you South African? Because we are going to check everybody. Check them. Please, if you're not South African, come with me. Come. Come with me. Come. Come. You guys are not South African. Go out. You can go to Unjani, block P there, or Mutila Hospital. Go. Hey, fast. Because Zimbabwe, you run past and go to the border. Hurry. South African. Please stand up. If you know yourself that you're not South African, please be able with Kuto. All these nurses and doctors, they are here for South Africans. Get up South Africa. Please stand up. Don't try us. Everyone says, hey, what's that? You run past the border and again.
Abusia, this is how bad things have become. Ewo South Africa mainu emu, as we can all clearly hear. Ewo video ni munu se wonye South Africa ni a PFI hospital ho. Omu chairman, a nurse for any a doctor for omu ewo ho no. They are there purposely to serve the South Africans. Inti ya na se mu free Ghana, Nigeria, Zimbabwe ni ade no. Munko go and die with your sickness. Nobody is attending to you. And some no ayare. People are calling on the South African government. Say no more Sarah Ramaphosa, what are you doing? Do something, because ye colleague wants African Union. Now African Union is this what we are going to witness? And we've gotten some South Africans they've also spoken against their ekoso said this is bad. I mean, for those of them who are involved in what is happening, attacking fellow Africans, they should go back to history. Share their koso some years back, the contribution of these Africans they are attacking now to their independence, and they would appreciate them the more.
Another thing, when did we as South Africans stop being Pan-Africanist? Like, are we forgetting that we were literally the last African country to gain its independence? Zimbabwe was independent before us, Malawi, Mozambique, all of our neighbors. So who do you think applied pressure on the apartheid regime? Who do you think made it difficult for the apartheid regime to just operate because they had all of our borders locked and loaded? It just like, I don't know, it feels like we're now turning around and saying F you to all the people that literally helped us get to the point that we're at now, just because we're the ones that have it sweet. I don't know. My question, guys, hey, don't fight me. My question is just, when did we stop being Pan-Africanist? When did we stop having the interest of Africans at heart? Or we're just happy with yes bus, no bus?
Now it looks like not all the South Africans are pleased with their air coso this whole xenophobic attack should be brought to an end. It's the people we are attacking are our own people. So why are we attacking our own people? The conversation is going on and on and on. Now, over Ghana, we've gotten the foreign minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa assuring Ghanaians they are doing their possible best. Said any Ghanaian or finding him or herself in the land of the South African country, or more able to me keeping it safe from any harm. And so far, attacking the Ekoso. But then Ghanaians in South Africa, they are keeping them safe from any harm or risk. And so following some keenly. Now be a do any updates be a bebano. Now let's shift from this whole South African and somewhere Ekoso na Yemra Ghana Hanum Seya. And we saw President John Dramani Mahama described a certain condition as the greatest, crime. Now, that same word has been used by the Pediatric Society of Ghana. Now, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. Screens so boldly written. This is coming from the Pediatric Society of Ghana. And it is directed to His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, Jubilee House. Now, Etifia Semnese congratulatory message and urgent national health appeal on Galamsey. Intina to say, woman semwa womatro nyina dia koma President Mahama ni chemu say Galamsey adie bakwa se oba Ghana hanum say that is the most dangerous crime against humanity. Say paye ka bone a eni so a etie nipa wo Ghana hade a na Galamsey san say di nipa bebrewu wo krodue mu hanum say eno ho nkrata na omo ede kwakoma President John Dramani Mahama na yenhwe nkrata ni mo o say Your Excellency, on behalf of the Pediatric Society of Ghana, we extend our warmest congratulations to you and the government of Ghana for your leadership and diplomatic efforts culminating in the adoption by the United States of the United Nations of the transatlantic slave trade as a crime against humanity. Intina chese wo mo trema wo mo eni so na afi wo mo di abasobode nso ma President John Dramani Mahama na nsenya wo kopie mu UN no proposal ne nkrata wo de koye ni twemu se slavery sebe kaneno ye nananom ye di omo fa mu abrofo di omo fa mu kotonton wo mo beye butter trade ni ade yetimi de fenesen snap ebe ji nipa de kwani ade ni nyina no omo ni se eye bone a etia eye nipa enti omo empataye wo chem se eno na omo bo mampani aba so ewo se the recognition is not merely symbolic, it is a profound moral correction in global history. It affirms that crimes which strip generations of dignity, health, and opportunity must be acknowledged, remembered, and prevented from recurring in any form. And so much sa ejinesie ya President John Dramani Mahama ese no. Eya ade bi asebi omo hu ne se ebeboa ama dachi bi no mrofo ini white the western world that recognize the importance of humans. Ome hu se eba no nipa sebi o se yedi obuo ema nipa ye dwen nipa pomuden ho ye dwen sebe kwan a ye de nipa befa so a ni nyina be kire obuo on the side of human being, not treat them to say bia wo muso ni mfa so anase bibisa. Now say your excellency, it is in this same moral and scientific spirit that we respectfully draw your urgent attention to an unfolding national tragedy, Galamsey. Enti omu chema kwanya mampani fa so a wodi be hu say transatlantic slave trade no was very inhumane to human beings no sa no omu nso omu ejina sa kwanya ne so ama mampani hu say in Ghana here Galamsey ade ba ko asebe bone kese a ekutia Ghana for ewo oman yi emu. Ose from a pediatric and public health perspective, Galamsey is a crime against present humanity as it is actively poisoning our rivers, contaminating our food systems, and exposing children to toxic heavy metals such as mercury and arsenic. Enti uche ensemo mo kan omu chem say sa kwan ne so an na say ni Galamsey so eye bone e de etie nipa sese a esan se Galamsey no ese ye nsuo ese ye nuane afi emma emmofra wo krodiem hanum sei no wo mo consume omo nyama emmofra ye nyan wo mo no kra e ba benya Galamsey hu nsunsan system no nipa ye honamu akwa ne ade a adwuma we mu ema yetimi function as human being no emofra ye nyan wo mo no ebinum betimi anya aye affected with all this Galamsey activities ebi kwa so betimi develop cognitive adwemu ya de ne ade afen so impairment ubenwan se wakwakoto sini ewo ne honam ni mu ba bia wo mu chem se ya ye te ase ne enye ye nko a ena ye fasa obrewe mu nemo emofra ye nyan wo mu no nso no they are also prone to this. Now yet was also same the pediatric reality. Emerging clinical and environmental evidence shows that one, prenatal exposure to mercury is associated with irreversible brain damage, reduced IQ, and neurodevelopmental disorders. And not just so chema say pa de womoka Galamsey or how edebe bre nipa ehwa ade ba kwa wosi ehu ni say etimi affect adwen no etimi ma adwen ni ewu ayeye na hwea enye na IQ say obekọ school betimi esua ade obetimi adwen ti say nipa no ebre na sekra nti say wonam ho kra odwen kura nsisi so whatever you are saying no nyansa bia enimu na o say polluted water sources increase the burden of chronic diseases, infections, and malnutrition among children. Enti wochema ensure sebe yetu a asai ni ade ni ahwan because of Galamsey no etimi have ede yare a enko yare bi o so chronic osasa yare na enko as well as say infections into the system and all that, and then malnutrition mofra no mo didie any ade no enko ye affecting system no. Now say environmental degradation fuels poverty, food insecurity, and displacement, all of which disproportionality affect children. Enti wachema yeshe environmental degradation asase a wo mo sese no ene ade edi ohia ba because so obi beye ne cocoa farm na se obekọ na wakọ dwuri cocoa negu because so pese otu Galamsey a ekom na bede no. 2 eduane nso eso bete menka ne say the production of food in sase anka ebetimi die duadua nnuane ne ade no ye nya sansase no afa die ebenya kra no so no ebekọ akọwi ase no de obekọ akọ ne say eduane no aye contaminated aye infected udi kra unnim yade a ukọ akonya enti nyama we nyina affect mmofra isan so nso consume nnuane ne ade a yedi wo krom hanum say o say in essence your excellency Galamsey is not just an environmental issue, it is a slow silent assault on the Ghanaian children. And so much men yet say be a Galamsey no said the young will chrome her a man for courses and so any bidi go to mukwaya demonstration was streets so and all that. That is not the only thing. But yen can who say a idea be a edene bro in getting ye who but ye be wiase no na edo how kesiem abeto emofre wo Ghana ha eso. Now say a moral continuum. The transatlantic slave trade robbed generations of Africans of their future. Galamsey risks doing the same, not through chains, but through poisoned rivers, degraded lands, and stolen potential. And so much slave trade ya abrofo di efe mu no. Slave trade no ewia niema bebre efi ebibiman ye ho development sabi yentimi anko yenim ena wo hwa abrofo na komo enim achen before in a whole lot of things. But Ghana ha any other African countries we are now picking up the same way ena Galamsey nso no ebewia daache papa bi edi efi Ghana mofra ho esan say ya de ene niema ba bebubo mu a niema anka mofra no betimi aye de aboa oman Ghana no we won't be seeing it again. Now I say if history has taught us anything, it is that crimes against humanity are not defined only by intent but also by the scale of harm and their generational consequence. Into a chema say sha bakwa semu na yetie nsemu efi slave trade ni mu ba ya na eka che say si eka so obi edi obi ewu anase wedi obi bone a yes wo twen sekan wo ne nko a obo ni tuo omi a ne kon anase bibisa na emom eniema bi anase ginesie bi a anade bi a ebeye nsenda ho ada ho ama da chimma nso aba beto o nso benya sunsunso anso bone no eno ena e wo se ye kan hu ne se eye bone kese pa editia eye emofra ewo Ghana ha say or say a humble appeal. On the occasion of this year's Earth Day celebration on 22nd April 2026 by the Pediatric Society of Ghana, we respectfully urge Your Excellency to 1. Elevate Galamsey to a national emergency of public health and national security concerns. And apart from the fact that Galamsey no more pre when you are there no, you can say yes, you can be say emergency and say and when you papa. And to almost man penny say one more than normal Galamsey asem no embe ya di here there na womo entimi enso ano. Now or say lead a coordinated science-driven and sustained national response involving health, environment, security and education sectors. Protect critical water bodies and forest reserves. Invest in child-centered environmental health surveillance and early intervention systems to screen, diagnose, and urgently treat children with health problems like heavy metal toxicity as part of a broader strategy to mitigate long-term health issues like chronic kidney disease, childhood cancers, and neurodevelopmental disorders. And in Kratawe Ninano, the Pediatric Society of Ghana ekanyina se mampani enwuni se Galamsey no enyagro eyenibre enti omo fe nibre enremu se de omo koye politics omo ye campaign no mutitisi mountain so a omo de enibre remu ne they should invest that same thing because baby a eniema ekeka kono ene de Galamsey eye Ghana mofra no maybe in future we might not get those brilliant eye mofra no to brainstorm to think on how to do things ebeboa ama Ghana now, I has caused a whole lot of reactions on social media, particularly from the camp of the MPP. I mean, this is one of the saddest addresser womu enya in recent times to President John Dramani Mahama because of Galamsey. Now, yen free Galamsey in some way so na ebusia yen ko pie mu ewo ensem foforo so a arehosem a me ne wo ka say aba beto apono so tue mu say one of Ghana's former Inspector General of Police IGP sabre de watwa nananom ewo ensiedo. Now this happens to be IGP Paul Teria Kwe. Said the one was screens national. Say former Inspector General of Police Paul Teria Kwe dead. Now eneya asare ho same way ebebe toja ama ene the police service nimuno ayare ho ye person said this man served a year within the years of 2009 and 2013 na wobone ho modene papa amanfo bebre eni so na dwumedi a wobedi ye wo Ghana hanum say nanso ene areho same a aba no echem say we film just like it a lot of media outlets are talking about it. And Osha, this is coming from Joy News. As a former Inspector General of Police, Paul Teria Kwe passes on. Now, asem no ayare huye pa uko social media so a manfo bebre edi ya consem ema the former IGP Yera Paul Teria Kwe on the demise amanfo so edi shedding ensem ama nebusuafo enam omode hia womo ahwe no eso amanfo bebre ena omode omo condolences akọ edi ama the former IGP ebusuafo ewo niwu a owu ye no eho. He died at the age of 73 no ena amanfo chem say well it's sad though say we free mu but then yehwemu a nimfie no kwa animu kakra and Paul Teria Kwe wonipa wo man appointment no the late John Evans Atamels wono ene appointing no as the IGP during his tenure from May 16th May 16, 2009 to February 5th, 2013 and survey as the IGP at the Ghana. Right now, we are still hoping to nebushia for ebeba out na fe omotimi ede ensemwa enamso anade namso we free mono ede ebeba beto mountain. So we'll keep you updated on that particular issue. But still on issues ekoso ewa Ghana hanum say no. It looks like Ebeka say the bail condition of 30 million yede Emma Abutreka no mechanic say a trigger a whole lot of things say because say there is a death issue is related to romance scam of about £1 million of a 69-year-old woman will free the United Kingdom UK mine emu now same way see somewhere 2023 na afei and after 3 years 2026 asem no aba into the limelight now the entire amount for bebre so much interested in this particular case. As you can see on the screens, a 69-year-old English widow dies in car crash in Ghana after losing up to £1 million in romance fraud. No, the fact say, and then nebeto just say Abutreka ni case no ye jemu ama and yes ye jemu but ye money bail of 30 million Ghana cedis with 2 sureties na ye gusua womo process asem no ye da sorry ye pe Sky News reported the demise of this woman that happened on 14th February 2023. Or more reported, a man for chem say na denti na dead news and na some way twemu na afe na moye den. More reporting. Is it trying to push an agenda? Say, it's true. Ghana had the scam with your brand and then what's the agenda? And I said, now let's delve into this whole story. Intuition screens and I said, Mrs. Forham traveled to Ghana to meet a man named Kofi. Despite her family's desperate attempts to intervene, her daughter Melanine noted that because her mother was legally of sound mind, authorities could not prevent her from going. Even though the family believed she had been brainwashed, the relationship began when Kofi contacted Mrs. Fordham, claiming to be a doctor who had found her contact information on a phone in a repair shop. He gained her trust by alleging he wanted to help her recover funds lost in previous scams. Mrs. Fordham was killed when their vehicle crashed while traveling from Accra to the Oti region, where they reportedly intended to seek family approval for marriage. Enti echema Mrs. Fonham widow ni kuna wu na wati UK ho no ye na dwuma nkakra ene ade na edwuma no ye ni mu no ho na abranche bia ne din di Kofi reach out to her na abranche no reach out to her no eno ka che ne se ohun se maame no ne number wo phone bia wo repair shop no abranche Kofi no oye doctor na opeso oboa maame no na scam already maame no ye di kan scam no wako into relationships with people all in the name of I love you near ade and my scam ne pen enti Kofi share ne boss obeboa no na ni sika na akodi nkofo ho no mo age ene maami every UK oba ne yese ne ba kire ne se emma o se meba and police force ye hwehwe nye because your mom is she's mentally sound na adwemu da ho onim de oye yesi ni kwan a enyeye eno ndi odi bepie mu Ghana ha eno mu dididi mu a Kofi ene Mrs. Fordham chemu a wo mu kware enti wo mu ko ti region no makoye processes for the marriage and all that no ena che say wo mu ka no ekonya akwanhia a wo to anananom ewo ensiedo now Sky News enso report e medi kan dada say Sky News report about mami ni wo ni ho but dey wanwan amanfo dwen wo munti ase ne say why now after 3 whole years now we share screens ne so I was saying widow died in Ghana crash after losing up to £1 million in romance fraud in inquest hears enti Usha Nsemnimwa, or say Janet Fordham, 69, fell victim to 3 romance scams between 2017 and 2022. She then traveled over 4,000 miles to Ghana in a bid to recoup her losses. And to Muchema, Janet, with this 69 years in Vishay Drosian Chrome, one unquire scamming 3 solid times. Now, 3 times, 2013 to 2022 nimu and 2023 okonya akwenhia and now scamming ninti wo free UK eba Ghana say wo ba be pre na wenya ne sika akodi scammers foi ho and when nam so do say a widow died in a car crash in Ghana after losing up to £1 million in several romance fraud that saw her lose her life savings and home in an inquest head into not just omuchema maame no £1 million ai and I say kodi scammers for way na ne life savings the jumadin a why se be ni fie kra no wo hire ni fie ni ade san se bosia ni ade no ankobo no enya asem keto say Janet Fordham 69 suffered fatal injuries in the collision on 14th February 2023 after coming to the country to marry a Ghanaian man she met online who claimed he could help her get the money back into Obagana ha say oba be ware Ghana ni be ma ye friend Kofi so oba boano na ni sika bi akwakodi scammers for nsem no all in the name of love ni ade no nensa etimi aka o say Mrs. Fordham had fallen victim to several online scams during a 5-year period that saw her lose her home and life savings estimated to be up to £1 million. Devon Coroner's Court head. Enti kopie mu court no. Ene beto just say mami online ya fraud de jume ya de ya ene mami ekoto scammers for nsem a. Ne sika be £1 million there. E free ne nsa ne fie ne life savings ni ade nyina abono. Ama asem no akopie mu e court. Also when she traveled to Ghana, the retired housekeeper was living in a caravan at the home of her son, Martin, and daughter-in-law, Melanin Fordham, in Hunting, Devon. Inti omu chema, maame no to kwan ba Ghana. She's a retired housekeeper. Why a housekeeper sa bra to susu dia to wa scammers for abedada or in the name of love because you're a widow. And ono so edi ni sika yeden. Ama omu na so na ote ne ba be my friend Martin. Ene na so ba melanin enchen na omo ebo bra wo no de o se wo ba Ghana abeji ni sika nti wo de ekohia obi a friend Kofi e wo online. She started using online dating websites in 2017 and met a man who claimed to be a British Army sergeant major working in Syria and needed her help to get gold bars to the UK. And yes, 2017 afinimuna mami we sha say eja kuneni so ma mempe obi nka me ho na eja ye nyina ye nhwimbom. Who knows, maybe I might find love again. And no started so all online dating sites eso. Na woko PM wo ho no eno kohia Abronye bi a wochem se wo British Army sergeant major na oye adwuma wo Syria na Syria ho no no ohia moa kakra se de be ya obetimi di gold bars abe PM wo UK. Mrs. Fordham told her family that they were in love and that they were retiring to return to the UK. With the couple wanting to buy a house together, her daughter-in-law said, adding that she warned her the man would be asking for money. And the bro she sergeant here, omo shibo muni ade obo ne ba no ene the daughter-in-law na money no mo chen say wait there. We are not having a good feeling about it because Osha said the okika nsem no e fa ne dia usika no page mami say oh who no find love before only the watia shodom tie nya no and then your call so say Melanie Fordham added, I told her categorically not to send him any. Janet had been sending money to him, but we didn't find out about this until years later. I believe she gave him around £150,000. And when we chema, mameno onwa ria ne home, esene sikane kakranka de ma Abronye ya, sikane ya kekabo mwa, kekako beye £150,000. And no de ma Abronye. So Mrs. Fordham later learned she had been defrauded again by a diplomat after her UK bank accounts were frozen. But her family said they don't know how she transitioned from one fraud to the next. And to what say UK, this kind of foreign countries are omo monitor system pa. Even your own bank account they'll be monitoring for you. And you do baby no be say who is kadodoa yet me freeze the account because sometimes they might think it's an intruder. And you ban esa no omo freeze mama account no knowing what pe kwan foforo so kra esan send sky you been one say fraud first one year fraud then wanteful am wasan koto another fraud mu ebiem or say Melanie Fordham said her mother-in-law transferred money by several means including bank transfers, wire transfers at the post office, and potentially a travel agent. But the banks and post office stopped her mother-in-law from using their services because they recognized it was a fraud. Inti edru baby no said na wa send sika na che a da bia wo de kono bank fo ne kra be hu se mami sika ya wo send de enkofo na dada wo ju sika di nto mo de mo si ne kwan. She went further to be giving the money to people e bia wo tu kwan na wo kokro na ni nipa no so no otimi disika ne ma se okwa fa koma nipa no na otimi se mami na odo no edidi ni tirim pa because tell me why. Also third man promised to help recover funds. So this is where the Ghana man comes in. Kofi. Also the inquest head another man named Kofi contacted Mrs. Fordham claiming he was a doctor in Ghana who worked part-time at a friend's mobile phone repair shop where he supposedly found a phone containing messages to and from Mrs. Fordham. Kofi claimed he contacted Mrs. Fordham because he believed she had been scammed and wanted to help her get money back. Melanie Fordham said police spoke to Mrs. Fordham about Kofi, but officers could not further the investigations as she failed to respond. And after the two scam no and obeto another scam mumwa ono ne friend Kofi a ono na nam so mama mi ekonya akwanhia Abronye ko tirigi no ko wuye na nti echema Kofi ne kwa na reach out to maame no che ne sen ne nsa aka phone bi na maame no wa hu omo chat ne ade na said the chat ne tie no timu se nipa no ask him. So this is telling us if it is really true there said there were contacts and there were conversations and say nipa no di kind defraud them maame no ebi ano no so ebetimi aye Ghana ni but that is how maame Janet encounter Kofi a odibe PM e Ghana ha. When you continue there are a lot of ways maame SNE sika ATMs ni ade eventually odibe PM Ghana with the assurance say Kofi ese obeboa no ama ni sika bia when we defrauded no aje free in nsem obe retrieve sika no e de amane back. But unfortunately and na wodi ebenya na kwensha wo e wo Ghana hanum say it has caused a whole lot of reactions. I been much said this is very sad, and this is the reason why Womoti I said in Abrofo ne di omani asi Ghana mrantie so eba ne fraud ne scamming because 50 time I che haja for real ko dey mu ba ye and mrantie ya che omo the last person I hear handle need say ya abutrika, and you see how the case is going now. Utimi say Ghana form pesa abutrika beko but before no so any abre say they need him then say omo hwehwe omo ade share any idea because of this whole scam issue. Now ye be follow and semino na yamamo update ewo. Moving on to other stories. Me no ka say ye nyina ye nim say the OSP Mecheyera Kisi Ejaben ne nsem bia betoto apono so about say ye je ne cases are all handle nyina ede ama attorney general esan say emra no emma ho kwan so betimi a prosecute any case bia wo Ghana ha. Now one of the cases that Kisi Ejaben esha ase di ekire ode ho Interpol ni red notice any ade etoto so the former finance minister Kenneth Yao Ofori Atta, bebre na friend say Ken Ofori Atta. Now Ken Ofori Atta issues no akọ back and forth near the Interpol atono so near the red notice atono so near Ofori Atta beba besin there Ofori Atta embedru Ghana hanum say but there is an update the office of the special prosecutor however concerning Ofori Atta case no baby akwa kodru. Now ye share ensemo the office of the special prosecutor wo mo ati ekruche e de ato wo mo website ne so a was a court case update Republic versus Kenneth Nanayao Ofori Atta and 7 then say enyo no nko enipa nson bi so eka ho say in court today prosecution informed the judge that between the last adjourned date and today, there have been some court proceedings, particularly in general jurisdictions 10 and the Supreme Court concerning the prosecutorial powers of the office of the special prosecutor. And to say no, the office of the special prosecutor, the prosecutor himself, Kisi Ejaben, so bet me follow up on issues and prosecute the people accordingly. You know, and we say every day we assembly. There've been other proceedings. Akoko koso. It was a particular issue. No, Also, prosecution invited the court to take judicial notice of those court processes and proceedings. Prosecution further stated that in view of current circumstances, OSP has taken steps to file a notice of appeal, an application for stay of execution with the return date of 21st May 2026. And the OSP, say no, what the notice of appeal say they should put a friend saying hold the proceedings now that's a stay of execution until 21st May 2026 now after omo etimi atwa ensem no so also prosecution prayed that the matter be adjourned pending determination of the application for stay. Lawyers for all accused persons present, except Kenneth Ofori Atta and his chief of staff, Ernest Akori, who remain fugitives with an extradition request and summons to issue directed at them in U.S. obliged prosecution, but added that the return date be set reasonably further so they don't come back for more adjournment. Into say cases bebre na OSP edi anono. Woma say womo bema time kakra akosi said the appeal OSP de koye no womo ebetimi edi ho dwuma na afei no Ken Ofori Atta ono ne de I mean all the cases lawyers for womo follow up and say womo defend cases na diama the respective mechanism defendants for no omo nyina ya available with the exception of Kenneth Ofori Atta and na court twemu say omo chese the notice of stay of execution na omo ede kon omo chese omo pese omo fixed date bia ebe favor in a sense omo ma biom embe pray for adjournment eno de enya de a omo ebeje atumu eno ene nsema court no ede abetuja now or say by court, in the light of the decision of my learned brother sitting at GU10 and subsequent notice of appeal and application for stay of execution filed by OSP, and 21st May 2026 being the return date, it is only fair to adjourn the suit to a date after the return date. In the circumstances, it will be fair to adjourn the case to 26th May 2026. In this upgrade, court cases are OSP nanka all follow up any ade nyina no de eba ni say OSP atwema the prosecution e de betu just say oh no say he doesn't have the entitlement to prosecute ni anyamanyama. He's appealing. Whilst he's appealing, the case be na odi udwuma no, that case has to be on hold na until 26th May. Na fe omahu kwan yon befa so a wo mo ebe handle case no in which Xenophobic wono nso nasem ewomu ebie ni nyina mu no. The Eastern Regional House of Chiefs womo apeyi Ketsi visit to the president of our land, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Now womo kopie onom no enkomo twetwe bebre aba beto abonten with regards to their visit. Womo they said there ekoye. Now the response no free President Mahama ho eba ye no na yebeko na yakwa akotie. Nti ebusuan yenje bre na yentie the course so with regards to the visit of the Eastern Regional House of Chiefs. Yebeto ansem no eso.
It is a great honor and privilege to be received here today at the seat of government. I'm deeply grateful for the warm welcome and the opportunity to engage with Your Excellency. This visit reflects the strong and enduring relationship between our institutions and the shared commitment we uphold towards progress, stability, and prosperity. The strides made so far under your guidance serve as a testament to your vision and commitment to advancing the welfare of our nation. Your Excellency, over the years, we've been asking the Assembly support to run our traditional councils, to strengthen local governance, preserve and facilitate cultural heritage, and enhance community development initiatives. However, nothing has come forth, and we are still supposed to deliver to the people in so many ways. Since we are not getting anywhere or any meaningful assistance from the MMDAs, we Nananum are seeking for our own common fund to alleviate the burden of delivery of services to our people. Local government is crucial in our development process, and the common fund for Nananum is appropriate and logical. Finally, we need technical support from government with regards to access to the records of the two land boundaries settlement of 1992. Permit me to once again express my sincere appreciation for your hospitality and courtesies extended to me and my colleagues.
Let me warmly welcome you. We're reaching important milestones, and we need to prepare for those milestones. One, we're coming out of the IMF program. It's coming to an end. We have the final review coming up by next month. But we intend to, beyond the IMF program, still keep the fiscal discipline that has resulted in the stabilization of the macro economic environment. And then they talked about chieftaincy common fund. Unfortunately, there's no statutory fund like that. We believe that the assemblies should have a little leeway to be able to support our traditional rulers in their districts, using some aspects of the common fund over which they have more discretion. Yeah, but I don't envisage a whole statutory fund, created for the chieftaincy institution. That's why we keep looking at the stipends that we give and increasing them. There are developments that we are doing in terms of infrastructure, and every region is getting its fair share of those infrastructure. The Eastern Regional Hospital stalled a bit. I've asked that the contractor go back to site, and we pay him so that we can complete it and have the Eastern Regional Hospital. The other new regions too are going to receive regional hospitals. That is the 6 new regions. We're starting with 3 of their regional hospitals this year, and next year we'll cut short for the next 3 for the new regions. Recently I was in Korea, and we discussed the issue of the University of Engineering, Science and Agriculture in Bonsu, and I think that is an institution that we are activating as quickly as possible so that we can create more room for our young people who are seeking tertiary educational opportunities. But one area of concern is security and conflict. And we realize that a major contributor to conflicts across the country is also the chieftaincy institution and issues of land boundaries. We believe that it's something that we need to work with the National House of Chiefs and the Regional House of Chiefs on. The 1992 Constitution barred government from interfering in chieftaincy matters, and it said that issues of chieftaincy disputes should be handled by the chiefs themselves. But it looks like it is difficult. Government only intervenes when law and order breaks down, but we cannot interfere in the customs and usages of the chieftaincy institution.
For the visit of the Eastern Regional House of Chiefs, and I in Komochichi ene nsemo President John Dramani Mahama edutuja ene yekutie no sabre de ye be free Mahama ene Regional House of Chiefs wo munsem we so na yakopie mu e wonsem foforo eso a na otwetwe mu dwumedie ba ko ekoso trigger a whole lot of conversation on LGBT no plural speech na ne ohwe ememma kitinka ne ade o madane ma utie the analysis amanfo make it with regards to this plural speech na say about 100% of the people calling emu be 90% kwadwo besia fo nkwa ne kwa ni ehu ma no because emema ehu mema say mema ni nyina adane emma. In view of that no Minister for Communications and Digital Technology who doubles as the MP for Ningo Pram Meche Samuel Nate George no one person yenim say we push the agenda of the anti-LGBTQ plus bill no papa right from the NPP administration till now. Me no ka say wabekasa de afa LGBT no awochem say wa monitor bibi ehu say amaya woduro bebre. I mean there've been some countries omo de ababeto just say they are assenting to the bill. Omo president are assenting to the anti-LGBT bill. Enti omo mind so there you can't go and practice LGBT wo na so mu a say the besia bu no and say friend is saying emrane ni ubedi no you ankasa no you found yourself wanting no and some judge e dey abeto just say it is high time ye hu ni say LGBT and say anti-LGBT bill no and for how be Ghana if we should sign it because the other countries are not signing no they are still going on with their international relations with other countries equally and fansun and so boni bia embre or mine no yenkotie some judge said we didn't sem no etuja.
Uganda has replicated our bill, gone ahead to pass it. Senegal has done the same, passed it, and even reviewed their bill to increase the sanctions. And let us be clear, it has not brought any economic sanctions on any of those countries. And so it is important that I believe that we have done this, but we will respect the processes. The processes for the passage of a private member's bill must be respected to the letter through every single phase. So even though we want expediency, I will urge that we do what the letter of the law says is the process. Let me reiterate the fact that as for the clauses, we have gone through them, we've masticated them, we will go through them expeditiously, and there is nothing new. I have seen a few suggestions that have come. We can look at the merits or demerits, but the body of the law, Mr. Chairman, remains the same. The calls from very respectable groups like the Catholic Bishops' Conference are very well placed because of how sensitive and important this is. From the office of the Chief Imam, very important calls have been made. We've been told by the Chief Imam's spokesperson that the Chief Imam's pleasure is to see this bill passed before he is called to his maker. I believe that Parliament has a responsibility to grant the Chief Imam his wish and grant the Catholic bishops their wish by making sure we do what we have to do expeditiously and placing this before President Mahama. And then we can collectively demand that President Mahama signs the bill. I have all the assurances that he will do the necessary when we place the bill before him.
Abusian Sam Nate George, Minister for Communications and Digital Technology, and Ayukotie, a 2IC on the implementation of the LGBTQ, Anti-LGBTQ plus bill. And okase bill ne niema womupa. But then let's look at it from the brighter side. Say eba beboa na ya corrected the L's in the society. It won't add any effect. And fans are so boni biam reng Ghana for today. Ebinimo kase na ye sign ya ye nya investors abrofo ne betwe mo ho ani ade de. James said there are other countries who have equally signed it and they are still on and about with their business. And no and as I break there, Abronye back. For some time now, people have been asking questions. Say, "Enti Abronye we cry, yent me nyane share now because una o question opera speech na say the energy now with them manko. And this guy in particular, no, mekane say ne atopa video one ne fellow gay partner beton montin so some time ago. I know so be a whole lot of brohaha ye twene sani abasa e wo Ghana hanum say na Sam George chema sa Abronye no he is liable to face prosecution because of the fact that video esa beton montin so my say yes or no any ade o mo san kra be ye banter with social media no so ni ade ni de na is a educator ni ti kaba bit by bit no emra ne betimi ni na dia ma Ghana for binuma said the law should take it due course on this guy no they would also be happy. Now yenko tie said the Sam George ede no so etuja.
The gentleman for whom a video was leaked and an altercation between himself and a male lover of him came up last year, a gentleman known as Educator. Now, he can be charged on the basis of the video of male and male intercourse. That is a different thing. But aside from that video that came out, that individual holds himself out and promotes homosexual activity on his social media page. That person is holding himself out, so there is an act, and there is the actus rules and mens rea can be determined from his activity. So you take his activity on social media, his public commentary he has made where he admits to what his sexual preferences are. So he can't make that statement. So he's not allowed to make that statement. It is not just about making the statement. That the actus rules then goes to what has he been doing. The statement is an evidence of the mens rea, the thinking. But the actus rules is in what has he done to actualize the statement that he is this. So those two, so those two must go before you can ground a cause of criminality.
Sam George explaining how Emrano, the anti-LGBT bill, no say be Emra, said the betimi di amount for biti say educator who apparently ni video abeto mountain so pain. And I think so on one kasano owning himself say he's me so kwadwo besia o be ma wadane oba nti kwadwo besia be kanesa and to think say or promote this kind of gayism and all that ewo ne handle so no such a person no emra ebetimi atwe na so with regards to the videos the platform you can pull informations and details there and they can charge him for that and unti na wo mu push for the agenda say emra the bill no ebetimi ama abeye a law na afe omotimi de asotwe ama omo be for victim to it. Now, no, in other issues that so no update I de buy no now we're talking about Otumfo say to 2 watch mu say emre ye ninka so na eba na manyosema ebi ba na ebi ekọ esan say issue a ekọ so ahemfo sem ekọ so ewo sampa ewo bono mantamu no aban mu enipa binom obo minister for interior obo regional minister omudi omhu rewremu ni ade omo chese asem ne inform so omudi omhu rewremu Steven Amo Asteka o aba be kasa chemu say all those sebe NDC for in particular omudi omutu mi omo wo ewo aban mu se edi intimidate Otumfo say tutu no omu nhwe ni yie papa omu nhwe ni yie because this is a high risk. How dare you say because of your political power no be start say we intimidate Otumfo on what grounds na same way as Seka beka yen no cause a lot of tractions among for chemadwe bi chemu say when are we going to grow from this whole Asante hene they've been kings and asa him for chiefs womun so o suffer this same government intrusion near there why na akasa momo I didn't know do Otumfo dem so enko so everybody wants to make it some way that's some no ne nsem bi ebinom so ka ebi so twem said they really agree with what Seka is saying because say anhwe ni here na ye de amanyosem kofori eya him for sem a enya de a ebeboa ka kun ye gini kwakwanum ye ntie Seka said odi nsem ne tuja
Madam e kan kuro Ghana eso obia so ehu se obia respect me kan untimi nka so anya tumi etudu Otumfo be diagro asem we dem ka with pain man crofon try nka say ye ne emrenti no on betimi di tumi ana di bibi behunahuna Otumfo ana be ya ade am na ha Otumfo kroma mpanyimfo no man city up ye ka churo mu ene de me ka with pain. They shouldn't joke with Otumfo. I'm telling you, nobody. And you be an politics into obeso so bekan crew. Me nya tribalistic. Obi an say buanipa. Me do nipa penipa asem. Ba me kan okra na ache o. Ma obi nya na dwuso otumi nti. O de be ye bibia tia Otumfo. Me ade en okra no. Me die kire saa mfa ho do nipa ne ye. De me ka atmasi. Na emom menye obi nyana dweso otumi nti because so enima Otumfo wodom the fact so mi person okasa na nche say ni dom mo obi so take here for granted. I'm being honest with you. A love for humanity and life and respect for modernization and globalization and coexistence and coherence and tranquility, peace and living together. And I'm not telling you, and maybe I know be ideal. But maybe me say, to me, and and to the baby basa. Chrono court on my womb, on my dear Sam, with dear ye. And when you're talking about justice, one of the principles of equity was it equality before the law is equity. And even discharging or dispensing injustice, the only way out that can create perpetual chaos. Okay? I didn't sympathy them to Kwaba. When the same people being governed think that justice is not being distributed equally and that the rule of law is being undermined because people think they have power, they shouldn't make mistake. That's all that I can say. Then set up na emra enye adwuma mra na nso si obi ba mo obi nwi so otumi nti wo ba ba mu nti wo tumi wo ba bi nti no obi bibi de tie Otumfo Anything that you want to do to Otumfuo, you do to people like us. So they should understand this.
All right, Medase, well said. They owe to me, you know.
Madam Ekanukuru, Ghana. So Bia so who said, Obia respecting the king. Untiminkas when you to me, a two to Otumfuo be diagro. I say with them with pain. Man Crawford trying to say, Yeni Mrentino, Ombe Timmy to me, and now the baby, Behuru Otumfuo, and Abaya Diamana Otumfuo. Croman paying for no man city up. You catch room. And then they with pain. They shouldn't joke with Otumfuo. I'm telling you, nobody. And you be an politics into a so be kind of crew. Me nya tribalistic. Obi an sim si buanipa. Me do nipa pe nipa asem. Ba me kind of cry na achiro. Ma obi nya na dwuso otumi nti. O de be ye bibia tia Otumfuo. Me ade no kra no. Me die chire saa mfa ho de nipa ne ye. De me ka atmasi. Na emom menye obi nya na dwuso otumi nti. Because so enima Otumfuo wodom. The fact so mean person or kasa in say he need domo. More be soon take it for granted. And be honest with you. A love for humanity and life. And respect for modernization and globalization. And coexistence and coherence and tranquility, peace and living together. And I'm not telling you and maybe I know be ideal. But maybe me say to me and to the baby basa. Chrono court on my womb. On my dear Sam, and when you're talking about justice, one of the principles of equity was it equality
before the law
is equity, and even discharging or dispensing injustice. The only way out that can create perpetual chaos. Okay, I didn't sympathy them to Kwaba. When the same people being governed think that justice is not being distributed equally and that the rule of law is being undermined because people think they have power, they shouldn't make mistake. That's all that I can say. Then set up na emra enye adwumamra na nso si obi ba mo obi nwi so otumi nti wo ba ba mu nti wo tumi wo ba bi nti no obi bibi de tie Otumfuo. Anything that you want to do to Otumfuo, you do to people like us. So they should understand this.
All right, Medase, well said. They owe to me, you know.
Madam, I can't go Ghana. I saw Bia so who said, Obia respecting the king. Untimin Caswanya to me, a tudo tone for Bidiagro. I said, with them a with pain. Man, Crawford trying to say, Yenia Merentino, Ombetimi di to me, and now the baby, Behu no tomb for, and Abaya Diamana who tomb for. Croman paying for no man city up. You catch room. And they make car with pain. They shouldn't joke with your tomb for. I'm telling you, nobody.
Ashafoye to us so the anaye go straight into the camp of Anas Arimeyao Anas. And so Ghana has said there you can't mention investigative journalists who Ghana had top 5 Anas Arimeyao Enkahu. He's known for his good work, he's known for doing investigation on a top-notch level. So see ansema ababeto jafa or no or the banki a fake report say or expose ya or suffocacy pa Ghana has said he's known for so below, he's known for a number of things a lot of audience as far as the church are concerned. Prophet Adum Chedia or then some about beton mountains or church say and Crawford say he's coming to expose the church and then some ills of the church ne Yamabia also for ne wababe di bank or the Facebook war as at April 21st and or communicated as we say and you know correct way infinity on your screen so shall I say there's a fake news actually say I will collapse Adum Chedia's church if I release the expose and when try not to say Anas try not to a fake pan it is never true on fire on yeah Nadrin say it's not in his book or it's not part of his itinerary say or babe expose and prophet Adum Chedia or the Sembia to Monsen so a press release yeah beshena ya shenya or kafa I say directive to mining companies protection of concession and notice of nationwide compliance monitoring exercise. The Environmental Protection Authority EPA pursuant to its mandate under the Environmental Protection Act 2025, Act 1124, and the Environmental Protection Assessment Regulations 2025 L1 2025 hereby notifies all mining companies of their statutory obligation to ensure the protection, proper management, and environmental integrity of their concession. OSHA, when EP, Environmental Protection Agency, our mokasa about mining sites, that is concessions. The Environmental Protection Authority is mandated to regulate, protect, coordinate, and exercise general oversight responsibility over all matters relating to climate change and the environment in accordance with the objects of the authority to set out the Environmental Protection Act 2025 and the Environmental Protection Assessment Regulation 2025. Some of the duties of the Environmental Protection Agency, things around climate, things around our environment, and we attribute it to the Environmental Protection Agency. Yet, also I know say the authority has observed with concern the increasing incidence of illegal mining, which are Galamsey activities occurring within legally acquired concessions. These activities continue to cause significant environmental harm, including pollution of water bodies, land degradation, and destruction of forest reserves. Concessions are legally binding. They've noticed that some people are going there to do this Galamsey causing havoc in our country. Yet, what's I say all mining companies are hereby required to ensure effective protection and security of concessions against illegal mining activities. EPA try not to say all mining companies or some ensure says illegal miners they go there just to do illegal mining, they have to be up and doing so that we can stop them from going to legally acquired land by the government to perform Galamsey activities. To us say establish and maintain adequate monitoring and surveillance system. It means a CCTV camera or say security system, it has to be intensified at legally acquired lands, ever prevent such bad or wrongdoers from visiting mining sites illegally acquired by the government. As promptly report any unauthorized or illegal activities within their concession area to the relevant state institution. It means that someone who be awkward and it's out of place. It has to be reported to the police or legal authorities. The fourth one, natural say, comply strictly with all conditions attached to their environmental permits, including approved environmental impact assessment and environmental management plans. It means that they have to strictly follow the rules and regulations in relation to those mining sites and environmental permits, which there has to be permits for them to be able to have access to areas. And if you don't have the permit, you are not supposed to go there, else something is actually going to happen to you. The last one, prevent environmental pollution and degradation within operational areas. And make sure say areas it is known for mining activities. There has to be any kind of degradation, bush burning, sand winning, all those places have to be secure to prevent such activities from going on in such areas. The authority emphasizes that failure to protect concession areas or to prevent illegal mining activities constitutes a breach of environmental permit conditions. In accordance with the Environmental Protection Act 2025, the EPA will, where necessary, suspend or revoke environmental permits. It means that your permit will be revoked. You don't have access. Uni authority say such mining site. Impose administrative penalties. There will be penalty attached to it. Penalty can be in the form of anything, and then they decide what penalty they give you because it's a breach of mandatory. And the last one says, undertake enforcement actions in collaboration with relevant state and security agencies. It means that all stakeholders are going to be involved. The security agency, the police, the military, and all that are going to be involved in this. In furtherance of this mandate, the EPA will embark on a nationwide compliance monitoring exercise to assess and ensure adherence of environmental standards and regulatory requirements across all mining concessions. The exercise will commence on 10th May 2026. So from 10th May, EPA they'll be going to all mining sites that are across the country to make sure that things are actually in place now to ensure peace and order at mining sites. All mining companies are accordingly advised to take immediate steps to ensure full compliance prior to the commencement of this exercise. Into your mining company, Ghana has a idea. You should take note of this, that as at 10th May, and now from next month, 10th May, there will be strict monitoring across all mining sites in the country. The Environmental Protection Authority remains committed to the strict enforcement of environmental laws and calls on all mining companies to uphold responsible environmental stewardship in support of national efforts to combat illegal mining. When the nature say Galamsey yes for Monsempa, it means that from 10th May there must be shepa abain chimwa onyamukra and all that. So if you are thinking of and now you started something around illegal mining as you have to start advising yourself, because sabanchiwa onya okra. I mean, illegal mining has become a kanka wemwo. Ghana has say abaye shena chese niya obetimi ayebia to prevent the havoc from continuing to occur there. Not just omweni abrepa when ye EP in sema or the EP so that will be it about that.